That started to get started, yes. All right. I can't see off my left eye now. Oh, I'm waiting up to that. Yeah. You want to switch places there? Hi, Carolyn. No, I'm not. You just want to. No, it's just help you. No, I'm not getting fine with it.
She is on page 47 of your hard document, and Bethany may just want to click on her salary sheet because they have the hard document here.
Can I make a request? Citizens at home don't get to see what we're handed out. Can we add these to, the file out there for people to look at and supplement?
We add those to the minutes, is what we usually do.
So they'll get the minutes in a month? Or it's just that people are asking because they're so concerned about the property taxes, they don't know what all it is. We can discuss it later.
We can scan them in.
Scan them in, we'll give them the IT website, have IT post them as,
Make sure I will just a copy for the minutes. Oh, okay.
yeah, we can do that, we'll put it green.
I didn't get one, no, did you call it? Thank you.
She passes around, ready to order. All right, everybody ready? Carolyn? What was yours, Lynn?
Well, this is what I just have said. We are growing, we're collecting, we're above what we spend in our budget, and what we turn back over.
All right.
What you have for us first.
You have any questions for Carolyn?
I do. How are our fees compared to other counties as far as the revenue that's coming in? Mr. Long, is there something we could do to run a comparison on our first fee compared to other counties? See how we're doing?
Pull them off the audit, and that'd be it. I mean, we could pull them off the audit reports, they're on the state's website.
Is that something your office could do for us, or if I wanted, I gotta do it?
We can do it, I've just got to put somebody on it.
I mean, I just wanna make sure that we're getting all the revenue we can.
Most of her revenues are set based on statutes or, percentages based on the state statutes, so it really is not very adjustable, if that makes sense. There's actually a statute that determines, just like the trustee's office, there's a statute that determines what percent you collect on what revenue. There's a statute for what she collects on the different, fees. And I don't think any of those are adjustable right now. I think we're maxed out on them, unless
Are we
Carolyn.
that's my question, are we maxed out on all the fees?
Or, I'm aware. Unless I'm missing something, maybe Carolyn knows something I don't.
David, so projecting through June, we'll have an extra $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And where does that go?
It goes into the general fund for operations, right? Because most of your county clerks, through the fees that's been said, are enough to recover their offices throughout the state, by and
So
large.
she's a moneymaker.
Yeah. Most of your county clerks, about all your county clerks' offices they cover their own costs. The
The month
fees.
of April, we were up 25%, what we paid in real tax, what we were last year.
How much?
25%. Wow. When we first,
So we may have to reproject the will tax if April pay that.
that was just real tax, that we didn't put them for these businesses.
Because your will tax has been lagging for a while.
I mean, I still think.
Depends a lot on how the month falls, how many days are in it, like April has 22 days.
5 weeks, isn't it?
You know, it depends on how your days fall, because you pick it up the next month, if you're down 1 month, you pick it up the next month.
And up here's her salary sheet for what she's requested. The cost of living is the 5% based on Mr. Schultz's initial recommendation, and then the others, the additional amount requested, and that may be, I think, for the 6% that she requested and all the rest of them.
We lost 3, maybe 4 employees since last year. New employees due to the salary.
Did we want to look at, like, just, if you're talking about the salary, comparable market rates where we are above or below, or?
Well, we've got it, but what you run into
You want
is
to say that for
like
tomorrow?
the county clerk's office, for instance, and that's what I'm saying, this has it for a lot of the directors and things like engineers, and, but when you go down into like the elected officials, for instance, the county clerk, like I said earlier. County clerk only has chief deputy and then deputy county clerk, but she has a whole lot of different kinds. And looking at, based on hers, when we start looking at the market, hers is actually, with it, falls within the actual market.
Currently, as it is right now.
No, with that, pulls it up toward the market.
You're talking about the 5% cost of living that we get out for this, and
And the 6, yeah, because it's showing that, and I know that it's a big average, and let me get back here and look at it one more time, and I'll read the amount for like your, I keep losing my spot whenever I know. I don't like the way they put this thing together.
So is that 5% for the cost of living, is that capturing like all the benefits as well, or is that just straight salary?
It's the salary, but then it captures, you've got a 7.65% for, Social Security Medicare, and then the retirement, I think, 11.39 was the most recent number.
But that column is only showing pretty much just cash salary, it's not showing the increase across the board for ourselves. I mean,
But that very front sheet shows you
how
that.
that grows.
I hate to put that in there. The county clerks, they only show, the chief deputy, and they only show one amount, so it's like an average of national and everybody for them. So the elected officials, they didn't do a whole lot of detail compared to like a lot of the other offices, but when I look at her, do you see her chief deputy? I think her chief deputy is below that aggregate average. Yeah. And I know this is including Davison and some of the big ones, but the aggregate average is around 88 for the chief deputy for that particular office.
That one specifically is kind of below, I guess, based on that.
Based on the
median
average, right, on the median on that, and it includes Nashville, but it also includes Wilson, so these are the larger counties, but they're not. And then our other ones, the average for everybody was around 48. And if you look, she's got some long-term that are 60 and 50, but she has some down all the way into 39. So if you just to kind of give you an idea, just grab the 39 and pull it down and stop before the chief deputy. She's probably pretty close to that aggregate average. Just pull it down and give you an average on the side. That's good. So our average is 54, so
we're above market average, I guess, or superior.
Yeah, based on that. Just pull the ones below the 84 too and see. They may go the other direction, I'm not sure. You can't pull those zeros there, that's fine. Just pull it till you get to a gray. Or you can pull the 46. But let's see what's the average.
29, so that's average.
It's really close, that one is. So some of the longer terms would be above average and some below, but overall, and then pull those bottoms because I think they're pretty close. She's like 46 there, so I think overall hers is probably pretty close to that 48 aggregate average.
For what, the 5% plus the
6%. Right. Her office is one of the probably ones that are below looking off more than average. Yeah.
Compared to other departments.
There's some of the others.
You know, this one's a little lower than.
Yeah.
Carolyn, the 4 employees you lost, were they all motor vehicle people? And they weren't temporary, they were permanent employees? Were they all here in Gallatin, or were some headed?
No, I had 2 in Christianville, and then 2 up here.
Okay. So that's, you don't have this.
Okay.
We just got this is their organizational chart.
Okay.
I'll try to have.
Bob was next, and I have a question.
Do you know where they went? So they weren't shopping counties or?
Well, I had one that touched my knee,
Those were 1 year.
but now she lived over, she was.
Do we already do these, right?
So that's what she did. She did not leave. The others left.
But if you have a.
But they get into her office, so they don't realize.
Yeah,
how much
they can.
there is, and how much money there is.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of it.
If you don't do what they're in here, it'll be a cost.
I have 2 items with the clerk's office. I was just speaking to Carolyn. As our county grows, and Carolyn says, and if they do a good job of moving people through, but we have people standing in the hallways. So I want us to think about the future of what we're going to do in Carolyn's office and the people we have coming in and where we're going to put them. And although we're not looking at the capital improvement right now, she's not asking for that. It's back on the table. Where are we going to find space for the citizens that are coming in? Either more people lined up servicing them, get them out of here quicker, which is not really a great thing. We have ups and downs, but where are we going to set them?
can stand in the hall, I mean, come out,
So
like, people go,
people are standing in the hallway.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not, as we get more and more people, it's just not, we have people that need a chair to sit in. I'm just saying, it's something in the next year that we should consider. Where we're gonna, you know, you go to the DMV, they got a place for you to sit while you wait. We can keep them staying in the hall.
when people are coming in here, I mean, you can do all this online, everything they do, most,
Not a process pipeline.
so it's the only thing.
You have to come into the office.
Would you say that
It's like you have to come into the office.
there's a majority of people coming in for titles and licenses?
Mostly because we got 4 kiosks for that. We got one in Gallatin, we have one in Hendersonville, one in White House, and one in Portland. The one in White House and Portland is 24/7 service. And they are really now beginning to pick it up.
So that you can do your titles?
No,
Okay. Okay, sure.
Titles, you have to come into the office because we have to collect that paperwork, we have to sign it,
It's a lengthy process too.
Yes.
Yes.
It takes about, if everything's correct, it will take about 45 minutes to process it. And we're trying to encourage people to use online. Our online can pick up, and of course, a lot of that is used in no edition, or it's actually.
Correct. Yeah.
Online can pick up, like, the first of the month, we're gonna have 800. Recipients. Kiosk in White House is probably our most used. And then Portland, this was here. We started trying to leave it in Hendersonville, it's in the outside lobby, 24/7, and we started having homeless people come in here. So we have them.
Are there any new positions in this? New positions, no positions, okay.
I've got 2 positions that I have not filled,
Gotcha.
and I'm not asking for.
Oh, so you lost 4, but you got 2 back?
I've got 2 positions
Those are 2.
that to fill,
Okay.
but I'm not asking for any.
And I just have one other question, and I don't know if it's in general ops or if it's in your office. The commission as a whole, we have voted on new sound system, new equipment, or new fixes, and I'm not sure where that is, if it's not in general ops, if it's coming from your office, and it's in our commission budget. But we all 24 of us voted that we want something better, button-wise, sound-wise, video-wise. The citizens want to plug in a USB and see what they're seeing. I don't know if that's in your budget, if we can discuss it in general ops, we discuss it in
I'll
commission.
put a county commission budget when you get there, if that's what you
It's
want.
And
on
that would
the
be-
Gen Ops agenda for next month.
It's not in the budget.
We need to budget.
Nobody's requested it to our office.
Well, because we don't know what the fix is.
So I don't have budget request power, but the commissioners, we've all voted, and 24 of us said we want this. So if we have to put the budget, if we have to give Carolyn budget money,
I'd put under county commission, because we just noted when we get to county commission.
perfect,
we're-
that's all I'm wanting.
Historically,
Thank you.
the county clerk has made improvements to the chamber, is that correct? So, I mean, $20,000 or whatever it is, like when we bought that system, I think it's 2016, 2017.
$20,000.
No, I'm talking about 2017 when they actually started recording these meetings live. I think that was the first year it started with 17, if I'm not mistaken. That system came in. I assume the county commission, it didn't come to the clerk's office. That's just like an appropriation commission for capital project improvement.
I was not involved in that, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I knew you
All
that.
that.
But the other thing,
I
on
don't, it
20,000.
did not come out of our budget.
So we'll put it in commission budget.
You just want to put enough to outsource all of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted,
That way they won't have to deal with it.
And just to let you know, Terry,
I know you're working on
Yeah,
it, but we need to budget for some money.
well, we're trying to figure out what the fix is. Until we know what the fix is, we don't know what the budget is.
We could put in capital projects for the county commission either way, probably debate.
I'll find you a picture if you want to.
Any other questions for Carolyn? I know we're keeping us on time. Anything else, David?
Nope. Planning and engineering is on page
All right, thank
38,
you, Carolyn.
and if Ms. Browning could go to their salary sheet, and,
All right, gotcha. Which page you say?
I'm sorry, it's on page 38, and Ms. Browning is on his salary request, and, there's Mr. Josh is there to talk about it.
We're not requesting much. I mean, you guys have been very, very generous with us in the last couple of years. We appreciate that. But that said, I do have something I want to ask for. So, this is not the time to do this. This is something, I've had a situation that's come up in the last 2 weeks, with an employee. I have an employee who has a daughter who's profoundly disabled. there was 18,000 and some change that was left over, when that position was eliminated. And you guys, when y'all reallocated that salary, what you did was you spread most of it out among, other positions as far as, raises and that kind of thing.
Where's it showing up at the office?
And so, there was 18,399 that was left over, when that position was eliminated. And I made a hire on the assistant county planner position. So you guys have been very good to us on that. I was able to make that hire at less than what we all budgeted. So there was about $7,500 in salary that was left over when I did that. And then the associated benefits come to about $1,587. And so there's $27,000 that's left in one way or another unspent, from that position elimination, in one way or another, because, again, there was 18,399 that was left as a balance at the end. And then, like I said, we had 100,000 for the assistant county planner position, and I've hired at 92.
We're not showing that.
And so there may be something that I'm missing on that. So what I was wanting to ask, if Ms. Rawling, if we could figure it out, if it might be possible, to create a part-time position, for that employee to be able to stay on. And one of the reasons I need that position is that she's a full-time, she's a native Spanish speaker. And so our position, our department, just whether you like it or not, a whole lot of people that come in to get permits are not native. And so they speak Spanish. And if you ever try to explain a drainage easement or an access easement to somebody that doesn't speak Spanish or doesn't speak English, it takes a long, long time to be able to figure that out. She's able to meet with these people and give them their permits in a few minutes. Whereas it might take us 30 minutes, 45 minutes or longer, in order to do that. And so I'd love to be able to keep her if we can. Again, I understand if the money doesn't work out there, but that's something I'd like to ask if it's possible to do. And again, I don't know, but maybe I'm misunderstanding something as far as how the money was allocated and that kind of thing, but that's how I recall it.
It's right there. It's right there, Josh. And these are the numbers that we had at the time, unless you maybe hired the assistant in chief or something. But here's what we got. That was your budget last year, and then the adjustments was actually like 1,082 left. But if you go through here, if these are the amounts people are making, unless we were missing one of your people.
I'll not say so. There was the Trish Crandall there, she was admin assistant, 46 and change. The salary benefits, that came to another total, right? So that was reallocated for raises for several of the positions back in December.
That's what that right there is.
And there was a balance at the end. If y'all remember Mr. Hyde saying something about giving money back and that kind of thing, at that meeting there was $18,000 that was left over.
How much did you hire the assistant in that?
92.5.
That's the difference right there. Yeah, Randy, it's 7,500 right there, and you're counting benefits, but my question is, are you looking at the gross? Because we don't give people credit for things like health insurance, or, I'm not sure.
No, not TCRS, Social Security, and, it's all looked at for benefits.
But the benefits went both directions, though, it's gonna say if you bring it back in.
Do we have org charts? I mean, I know that everybody gave org charts. Do we have org charts for some of these departments? I mean, I get the laws, especially,
Sure, yeah.
I mean, you've done a great job of rearranging stuff, but just verbally, I have heard all the position changes.
Sure.
And I know it was back in December, so I'm gonna go back and look in December, so I can get all the players in line. But do we have org charts?
Yeah,
They sent them to us, and we emailed them, I think, to you and Mr. Klein, I think.
I made copies.
Oh, did we? And I think you have a copy upstairs, didn't you?
Oh, that would've been nice to have.
You what now?
We can probably make that today.
Oh, okay.
Can you share Mr. Klein today?
Huh?
You can share today?
I can share
If we
today.
could get to that drive,
How many assistants are there?
what they call assistant is not assistant.
They're right up there. Is this, what's this board talking about right here?
I want to understand, this employee is a full-time employee currently,
Yeah, and
but their life situation has changed, and they can't provide a full.
That's right.
So are we gonna backfill with another full-time employee?
Yes, ma'am.
So we're gonna add a half-time, so we can see.
Right, it will be an additional, part-time. Again, that wasn't in my budget request, because this didn't happen a couple weeks ago.
Are you gonna keep them on health care? I mean, No, so we're saving.
They,
I mean, that's the best thing.
but those are not savings, and I say,
Now he hired a new one.
Yeah.
the position's being backfilled with somebody that's gonna come in.
This is a new position request, this is a new money request. What is, I guess, looking at the kind of market, like we did for the clerk, like where are we at in the planning department based on, because, we the commission added some positions, and then those positions get filled, and we took those and distributed them as salary increases for, where are we at on that?
So we have the planning, hey, go down to Josh and see how he looks under there. Josh's would be somewhere right within the range, because they have the average of 136,050, and then the top was 153,680. So he's somewhere between the average and the top. The staff engineer, because there's a head engineer, which would be a department head, and then there is a senior engineer. The senior engineer, the average for data center is 99,154, and the top step for those other counties are 123,883. And we have him at 141 next year.
Okay, that's way.
And then you have the staff planner, which would just be a staff planner. The average is 73,278, and the maximum is most of them are 90,668. So I think brought them in 92 pretty close to that end. But these are also 2023 numbers from the survey from Burris.
What's that staff planner is that referring to? Is that the
Staff
county
planner,
office?
it'd be staff planner the assistant you got. That's who that refers to.
So I've got a staff planner position that's,
They'd be, the staff planner is the assistant.
Can I ask about the translator issue? I mean, Carolyn didn't speak to that, and I assume that she has that same issue. Mayor, what do you do, Mayor, here in the building when people walk in and they don't speak English? Do we have a translator in the building, or?
we do not, right, it's not everybody, my employees, that's who it is.
Well, I understand so what do we do? I mean, it still happens, so what do we do?
Each department has to take care of it.
So if somebody, I mean, they're coming in right now, so what do we do? Do they?
We hire a lineman, call
They can go to my office.
Google Translate?
And talk to.
What is other counties do?
This is the only person we have in all of our
What does other
buildings.
counties do?
I don't know, that's what I'm
I
asking.
think at one time we had a line you could call about.
You know what, Judge Glenn, didn't it?
You're out of America.
There's a line you call and they'll translate. There's a line you call, they'll translate it for you.
Didn't Judge Blanton ask us for more money because he needed more translating, something about nobody in the nation spoke some language?
So my understanding is there's a line you can call, they'll translate that because of ADA.
So could Josh use that line? Are we using that line? I mean, I'm
What is,
just asking.
it's an ADA line, and we used to use, I don't know, we used it much lately.
I mean, we're gonna have Hispanics coming into the tax assessor's office, and who they want to talk to?
We can reach out to other counties and see.
Well.
I mean, it's a big problem, I think.
We can reach out to other counties and see what they're doing. I know that one time when legal was doing the HR stuff, that they were using the ADA line, if there was a Spanish-speaking individual, that they would go up to them and then we could get it translated. I don't know if it was a number we called, and we haven't had to deal with it for a while.
And I'm just saying, this looks like it's not just your office.
No.
Everybody needs.
Like I said, whether you like it or not, it's a demographic issue in the county and anywhere in Middle Tennessee, right?
I'm all about it, I wanna throw more at it, because I figure,
And so, I mean, that line is great, I'm sure it's there, but I can tell you, however that line works, it doesn't explain Sumner County zoning to somebody.
I believe that too, but we need something. At least a plan.
And I watched it.
I don't think we have a
They've asked for
plan.
5 and 6 months. I guess with the 6 counties. I don't know.
I'm not saying you don't need it.
Where does the 6% come from? You guys fill that out when I ask them.
It is. Maybe I'm missing something. Is there a problem with making this position legally, or?
No, it's just the funding issue.
Additional funds, we're already short 6 months.
What term in the budget?
Okay, so
It's just a request for an additional position.
Josh is.
Like I said, if this had come up a few months ago, it would have been in the budget, it's just something that recently came up. I wanna try to help an employee, like I said, if y'all can't do it, I totally understand, totally get it, it's last minute request, like that was.
So we get guidance for 5%, right, for COLA, but, and this is an extra 6% on top of that. Where did the 6% come from, I guess?
I think that was just departmental wide guidance that came down with everybody.
Where did it come from?
Where did it come from? I guess, because we didn't come from the budget committee, so I guess I'm curious where that the guidance come from.
It came down from the constitutional officers, as far as I know.
Did they have a meeting, or how did they?
An email?
have something that was agreed upon, I guess, at a meeting, or?
General conversation, what we felt we deserved.
Well, looking at market, I mean, do we want to do this now, or do we wait till tomorrow when we
So
start?
I think Josh's is within the market. The only other one we have is what's called the engineer, and there's a engineer head, which I don't think the engineer would do, and then there is a senior staff engineer, which I think is what your engineer would probably qualify as.
It depends on how you look at it. The way we're structured is a little different than like, you go to Rutherford County, they have a planning and engineering department, that there's not really like a director of the department. I don't really know how it works in practice. There's a planning director and an engineering director is the way that they do it. Here we have it set up so that I'm the director and the county planner, and the engineer reports to me.
If it's just a senior engineer, then the average across the large Middle Tennessee counties and the East and all of them is 99,154, and the maximum median pay, which is the medium of the maximum, is 123,883. Not many people can make more. That's the medium of the highest paid ones.
So where's our engineer at? What can you?
Usually your
127.
senior staff engineer is going to be somebody that reports to another engineer. So I'm not totally sure that's applicable here.
If he's a department head, the median's 137, and the median of the max would be 155, but that is if he was actually over an engineering department. So that one may fall somewhere between those two.
So again, reduce that one. I mean,
It falls somewhere
adjust
between.
that one.
That's just the numbers we got from us. But if you took him without the additional 6, he would be what? 133, which would be somewhere on the median between a senior staff engineer and a department head. So he would fall between those two.
At current.
Well, with the 5%, yeah.
Yeah, it's 5%. So I'd say, would you go ahead and adjust that? You want to go and do that, or?
It's whatever you guys want. It is the committee. They can, so I'm saying it usually goes the smoothest if you do adjustments with the departments here, if you're going to do adjustments.
I mean, I think if there's things that are out of balance, out of proportion, I think we need to adjust them down if it needs to for that. But I'm good with that, if everybody else is. We'll see what that looks like.
What are you saying, Jeremy?
Well, you say the engineer is over based on what they're asking for.
Oh, I see.
So
It's called the what he is.
reduced.
Because you have a city/county engineering head, and then you have a senior staff engineer. As Josh says, we don't have an engineering department, so he's really not answering to another engineer, so he's kind of left out unknown, but he's also not supervising the department, so best guess he would fall somewhere between those two lines as a blur. So the average of those is 137, 99, 154 on the bottom, 137 on the top. Just the average everywhere. The average of the top earners is 123 to 155. So,
I mean, we're still above average for the top earners.
Yeah.
Right where we're at now.
with the 127 and the 6,000 making what, about 133 would put him. Yeah, he'd be above. He'd be, if you put the 155 and 123, he'd be somewhere around the average between those two on the top earners. For last year. Remember, we're a year off too. It's 23 numbers they pulled.
Does this factor in raises from these other jurisdictions for 2024?
That's why I'm saying that's 23. That's what I just said.
So this is just catching us up to 2023, or putting us
So if we look at the
ahead, not assuming that they're going to give any raises.
So let's just look at the. So if we just look at the 127, and you take the engineer average. For that be between 99, 154, and 137. He would be at 127. So he kind of.
I'd like more time to think,
We don't have to do anything right now. We can
yeah,
come back and adjust.
yeah,
I think Josh's falls right within the median of the one he's currently making, what, 133?
We're at time anyway. So do you guys have any more questions or take any action right now, or just sit on this for a second?
I just want to say, I think we'll waste a lot of time if we don't do this.
Yeah.
They have enough Spanish speakers up there that this would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think we need to address that. Can you tell me where
Am I addressing that
part-time
position?
would fit into the new order?
New position?
It would be right in here to be a part, that's her right there.
Okay.
And so the same title would be just a part-time permitting
So
specialist
it would keep
position.
the full-time
That's right.
and
yes,
get a
yes,
.5.
ma'am. That's right. That's right. And I didn't get with David about the funds that were left over from him and the assistants and directors.
And I totally agree, we need a person up there.
15 Josh.
I just think we need to address that.
They need to file this.
Pretty
Hey, Josh, if you look right here,
I'll go upstairs and see Kim.
you're saying this lady right here, is currently not, what is 92,000?
That's right, yes, 92.5.
So we need to adjust that down right now, but to 92, to whatever to make that to 92.5.
Just made that higher.
The difference, you got the 72. So there, if we go down now, we're looking at about 85, 82, unless there's another salary but all the rest of them are filled positions unless somebody vacated. Because the salaries where they come from is actually out of the payroll system, pulled from the table, unless they're vacant. That one's vacant right there. So that's what we're having is the difference right now.
Well, I don't think we have time to, make a decision right now. We're over time already on Josh's slot, so we need to keep moving, guys. So, this is a new position that we weren't expecting, so I don't think we need to make a decision right now. That's my opinion.
I appreciate y'all considering it.
All right, so, yep, come back to this later.
Yes, IT is on page 47 for the operational.
Building and codes.
I'm sorry, building and codes is on page 39.
All right.
39?
Building and codes.
So I've got the org charts for y'all on the remaining.
Oh, thank you.
Find any position already.
No, what did you say?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We need to skip that.
I don't have anything. Goodbye. All right, then I got, take one down, pass it around.
What?
One of these, you need this?
Yeah, I told you that, I told Mayor to bring it.
It's stuff that,
Oh, okay.
by email.
I didn't pass it out to anybody, so.
No, I'm good. I know how everybody works down there. I've been down there a couple of times with Marshall, Stable Reef.
All right, we ready? All right, Marshall, you're up.
Chairman Mansfield, Commissioners, some of you I've never met before. My name is Mark Wright, I'm Building Code Director, Sumner County. I would like to take a few seconds to recognize our deputy building official, Terry Kane. He's the one that passed out the package. Terry's been with us for 9 years. He's our deputy building official. I didn't coin that term, that comes directly out of the code books. So we are an enforcement sector of Sumner County when it comes to building codes. I would like to, if I can, Mr. Chairman, spend most of my time in the 10-page document. It's right after the letter. There's 2 pages on the front. And I know my time is limited, so I have to go through this pretty quick. Page 1, this is a department comparison between our department and Rutherford County. I've tried to do a comparison between us and Rutherford County and Wilson County. I could not get the data together for Wilson County. It was like comparing apples with oranges. For Sumner County and Rutherford County, both of the building officials are department heads, and they also, the property maintenance zoning, Thursday works out of the building and code
Do you know their population? Wilson
I
County?
know we do, we have that data, but I don't have it on.
I know Rutherford's like 375, so they're substantially larger than us in population, so I'm just.
Municipalities,
Which one are you looking for?
borough, and all the towns and Rutherford County were real close.
I can.
Yes, if you take out the, if you just include the unincorporated population, some counties like 78,000, and Rutherford County's at like 99,000. So they are.
Yeah, that's on page 2, sir.
Yes. Okay? All right, like to flip over to page 2.
When you compare them, do you compare them by population or by units that you're coding, that you're inspecting? They come start in.
Don't ask me anything, it'll be population.
Population, not units that you're inspecting.
Yeah, about 50,000.
And the unincorporated area, that's what I'm looking at, that's where our comparison is.
160.
All right, is everybody with me? Let's go to page 2. Page 2, we tried to get all this information, but they were kind of uncooperative, so we had to, do an open record request, and then the information started coming in. And, Rutherford County, the Building Codes Department, they have 14 to 16 on their staff. Depends on what document you look at that they submitted. Sumner County has 7. Phase 3, Rutherford County's salary comparison at the very top is just the salary comparison. There's $1,062,000, and Sumner County is $418,000. At the very top on page 3. Okay, in about the middle of page 3, I know this is a sore point for a lot of people, but we're asking for adequate facility tax coordinator. Portland, about 4 or 5 months ago, asked we start collecting their adequate facility tax. In Gilbertsville, we started collecting theirs yesterday, May 1st. They were the last holdout. So our department collects adequate facility tax for all the jurisdictions in Sumner County.
What about Millersville?
Yes.
You do now? Because you didn't used to. Right now.
No, it used to go directly to the finance department. But my understanding, according to my office manager, we're not collecting for all jurisdictions.
Okay, so when somebody comes to pull a permit for, goes in there, comes straight here, they're not going to each municipality?
That's my understanding.
Not for adequate facilities, yes,
Yeah,
not for
yes.
building permits.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
Just adequate facilities tax.
Are the municipalities paying you to do this for them?
No, ma'am.
It's so,
It's been a burden on our.
that's why I was like, why are, I don't understand the math on that.
It's the adequate facilities tax for the school construction or renovation.
Correct.
They have to come down here and pay it. So it really is not benefiting the city, so they won't pay us to collect their tax. Yeah.
So the growth that they're causing to us to have to borrow money from the schools isn't benefiting the citizens. That's how I got it.
And in addition, we can't use adequate facilities to pay for it either because it has to be for construction and renovation of schools only.
Good.
So it'll have to come from your general operating revenue if you do it, yeah.
As far as an adequate facility coordinator, David, you're saying that that can't be paid out of the collected money, it has to come out of your fund?
No, because that private act says it's for construction or renovation of school facilities. So it's really clear. It would be, in my opinion, a very hard to impossible stretch unless legal has a different opinion.
It's mandated that it be paid that way, so.
I'd like to ask you the same thing I asked Carolyn. How does these compare to other counties? Is it the best fee, or do we have any?
Ours is low.
Ours is low? What?
I have that part of my presentation, hopefully, I might have to stretch it until at the end to get it in, but.
I'd love to hear it.
But to kind of give you the history, there's a factoring that's done on your building permits. When we originally did it, for the code update several years back, we went using factor 3.
0.005.
0.005. The commission, even though the office wasn't breaking even at the time, decided to move down the multiplier lower than most other jurisdictions because they had complaints from some builders, I think.
Oh.
Yep. So, that's pretty much what happened, but that's my understanding.
Out of the 6 or 7
Dollars complaining.
counties around, Sumner County and the Nashville area. We're at the very bottom of the barrel when it comes to actual facility tax, the very bottom of the barrel when it comes to, building permit fees. And I had that document.
We worked with Marshall on it, it was changed, we worked up the numbers to cover certain things with Marshall, me, and legal at the time.
Right.
And it was changed on the floor because there was, some of the commissioners that got complaints that they didn't, from some of the builders, that they didn't want the, fees raised, is my understanding.
It's my understanding that.
So what do you recommend?
I recommended that we, adjust the multiplier from a .004 to a .006. And that would take care of, our needs as far as needing that additional help.
Marshall?
And,
That would capture the increases in costs that you're incurring?
yeah, and even then, we would probably still be lower than everybody else in the surrounding area.
And maybe I'm wrong, because me and you talked about this a long time ago, and you told me, on one of those inspectors, wasn't you talking about that they were gonna be a different kind of inspection we're currently not doing, or am I mistaken? There's been so many things changed over the years.
And we're looking to, you talking about electrical inspections?
Yes, is that included in that, or is it something different?
No.
Okay.
Once we get through this, then I think, the mayor and one of the commissioners asked me to look into maybe, creating an electrical inspection sector.
That's something.
And that's pretty valid for us to do that.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but wasn't we talking about that there was one additional inspection you need to be doing that one of these people were helping with, and maybe I'm off base?
Yeah, it's in my document right here.
Your recommendation on page 9, I'm just skipping ahead, I'm sorry, because I know we're short on time.
Yeah, but that didn't tell what one of the people's for that additional inspection.
Yes, actually, it's several, inspections that we're really not doing right now. And, I think we'll justify, our request.
So those inspections you're not doing, private inspectors do?
No, ma'am,
Nobody's doing them.
So we're the lowest on this BBM calculation than any other county around?
Yeah, the three components for, coming up with our building permit fees is the square footage that's provided by the contractor. The price of cost per square footage, which is provided by ICC, and that's the, table we're talking about. And the multiplier is provided by the county commissioners. So the three components that come up with, how we come up with the price of a permit. So if we're gonna change, the permit fees, the way to do it, in my opinion, is changing the multiplier from a 4 to a 6, or whatever the county feels like.
Marshall, do we have a height limit on this? You know, you're saying a 6. Some people, there's no high limit on permits.
Six is, in my opinion, I read the numbers by David, would be sufficient for us to, satisfy our inspection needs and also, budget adjustments, and probably a little bit more, cushion, to keep us revenue neutral in our department.
Tell them which the additional inspection that you're wanting to do that we're currently not doing.
All right.
That was, because that was one that, in Marshall's opinion, we probably need to be doing, but he don't have the staff for it right now.
Is that not
That's right.
required? I mean, electrical inspection, that just, I got rid of.
No, we're not doing it, the electrical is done by the state now, we could take it over,
We could take it over.
but you would have to have additional piece when you probably break
If
even
we take it
actually.
over, are we just taking more, or are we gonna get a revenue?
You would
back?
take the revenue too.
Will we get some more revenue?
Yes, enough to cover it.
Well, can we cover it and pay people more money? Pay people
Yes,
some money?
but that's a whole different discussion. Right now, there's some of the other just general inspections, not electrical, that Marshall feels that we need to be doing.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not,
Which page are we on?
electrical.
I was on 9, but you're looking at,
Yeah, I can skip, 2 or 3 pages and go to page 6 and try to answer the question.
I just heard the fact that we're not charging enough, and they got lowered for favors, and we need to be charging more to cover our
I would
costs.
say, I'd rather say that they felt that a lot of people weren't in favor of the increase at the time.
Well, I understand who was in favor of it, I get that.
I didn't say there was any.
Well, I am, because I saw the year 2015, so I'm just doing the math on the elections. So, do we need to make a motion to increase that right now, that BBM?
I think that we need to do a lot more, workshops
Budget
on
package.
this, and looking at all
Budget package.
of their inspections that they're not doing.
With the budget package.
And then more so that, I appreciate Marshall's idea of .006, but maybe it's a different number, maybe
So then you
it
go
could be a
0.007.
little bigger. I'd like to see more county, I'd like to see more data on this, it's a big thing.
Well, do we go ahead and make a motion to send the budget for,
If you stepped it up to .006, then we could see what revenues it brings, because your revenues will be variable anyway based on.
I think it needs to go up, definitely, but I think it needs a bit more.
We looked at 05 years ago.
Can we do that on session?
Maybe I need time to look at
I
it.
think on session doesn't make sense. You don't?
I'd like to make a motion that we study this at budget committee, a little later down the line, because this needs some real study.
Yeah.
But my thing is, if you're gonna add the positions, it needs to do the inspections and stuff, and the best way to get your money is to actually increase the fees at the same time.
do we,
Right.
are talking about like, you know, I don't know what you and Matt talked about. I wish he was here, not here.
Me and him didn't talk about this.
Well, I'm just talking about like, new positions at all here. I mean, because you said we're way over, like, what, they're asking the 6% over the 5%, so it's like, we've got to find a way to get that.
Right.
It's like, right now, we're not doing that yet.
Right, I mean, this would be one where pull some revenue to pick up positions.
So, well, I mean, my recommendation right now is that we go ahead and amend the BVM from the current .004 to .006 if he's asking.
Right, and then that's what I would think would be your best move, and then if you're gonna, you could use it to fund these positions, because Marshall said these are inspections that he would feel for the benefit of the public, because they would be good inspections that they're actually doing. And can you mention the inspections you mentioned?
Yeah, we're required to do them, haven't done them since I've been here.
What were on the two inspections?
The biggest one is assessor structures.
And I think you said there needed to be another inspection of something else, you was telling me the other day.
Assessor structure, you're gonna do 4 or 5 at minimum inspection of one assessor structure. The footing foundation, the frame, and all
Like
that.
building on a deck or building on a sunroom, garage, mother-in-law suite.
Yeah,
This is my whole problem with this 15 minutes. This conversation could
I
be an
got so
hour.
much here that.
I know, this is so much, and I think that you're on the right path, and we need to.
Well, there's something we can do right now, and we're over time, but we can do something right now is my point. We can move this.
They didn't make a motion.
Okay,
I said it's in the budget.
I'll pull that back, and I'll make a motion that we increase .004 to .006 for the time being, and then study it for.
Second.
And that's just to make our numbers move?
Yes.
Yes.
As part of the budget package.
All in favor, say
That'll
aye.
give him the relief he needs now.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right. So we've got that done now.
You want me to cut it off now, or no?
Well, I mean, I know you keep going. I want to try to be sensitive of time and everybody else's time.
Jeremy, can we do an ad hoc on this, or how would?
Well, we
I
can,
think there's gonna be many things that roll into more.
well, I think
I don't want to do this haphazardly.
You could just have a meeting with Marshall and do a Q&A, because you could have a meeting for like, not necessarily budget, more just to have or ask budget to do a, ad hoc committee where basically Marshall just presents this to them, and they go back to the regular meeting.
I'll motion that and I guess nominate Terry, for the ad hoc.
I appreciate that, but next Tuesday, the insurance board, we got a 3-hour meeting. I mean, I got a lot going on.
You said you want more time. Be careful what you ask for, Terry.
I know, I just don't have time in the, I can't get to it for a moment, and,
Well, we know the basics here. We know that we're under what this multiplier needs to be. We know we're just shorting us on revenues.
You're not doing the inspections we feel it should be done.
So,
I think we just go ahead with what we voted on, and we can get back to it, and we
I think,
look at more intent. And also take in your other needs that you haven't had on.
We do have a Spanish speaking person in our department.
Did y'all hear that?
So he can handle, do they handle both offices?
what is it?
He has a Spanish speaking person.
Or he can,
From Brazil, he speaks 3 languages.
That's awesome, I hope he's good.
oh, yeah,
And look, he's interpreted that. Does any of the other departments send somebody your way? I mean, people have to be walking through the building.
don't we have a line, or maybe a line ladies to have it?
I'll ask our boards and the department.
You get in trouble for this?
So can I ask one other question? This will get you the relief you need now, 4 to 6. And there's nothing so urgent that we have to have a meeting, an ad hoc meeting next week, right? We could do it a month from now.
Well, it would be with your budget anyway, if you send the budget package in July or June or July.
Can I clarify what you're saying? positions right now?
Well, actually, I'm asking questions, building inspectors and one that.
I want you to hear what his relief is, is that what?
I just see two of them, Marshall, there's three, oh, there's three.
Yeah.
Did the 04 to 06 not give you the two new positions?
It gives us three new positions, two builders, both certified building inspectors, we do buildings, plumbing, mechanical, fuel gas, all of it. And then an adequate facility tax on there to take care of all that, so they're basically taking on this additional burden people costing on all the sectors.
So the first one's doing what again, Marshall, the second one's doing what, fuel, you just named the whole list of stuff.
Eventually they'll be multi-certified, where they can do buildings, plumbing, mechanical, and fuel gas, all of it at one time. But you can't find anybody that's certified to come in and do it, you have to find somebody you think would be a good fit, usually you have to train them all the time. It's too hard to find, they're really so tight of me.
But you guys are adding accessory buildings. But you guys are adding.
And then you can do a deeper study on whether the
Do we charge
right,
for this?
but we would appropriate more if we needed to see, okay.
And I listen to some things, and the document that we do not respect the detail. There are some additional things, in that document, that we can always add to it. Humans and downturns, or whatever, there's always other things we can do, insulation, and then insulation inspections is one. Okay. It's not in here, it'd be nice if it was done.
Quick question, Marshall, on the accessory structures that we're currently not inspecting, does that mean we're not charging them for it? Or is it just the structure being built at the same time as something else? That's what my question is.
Sorry, that's it.
You said the accessory structures, the additional, we're not charging for it right
We're
now.
charging for it. We should confirm it's all we've done is going out and looking at setbacks, to make sure it's not too close to my property line.
We just need to do more on the inspections, which is, okay, gotcha.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
We're gonna discuss, we'll get back to this tomorrow, so.
All
All right, we're late, sorry about that, data processing, IT.
they're on page 47 of your regular budget and 97 of your capital, and then this is their salary. All that, Robert has asked for is just the, 5% cost of living. And a little bit of rounding money, I believe, on his salaries.
Okay.
Can you roll on down, basically, make sure I'm not telling them incorrectly?
Yes, sir, that's it.
Where is, I know I keep on asking, like, as far as market on, like, the county clerk, you said we're below, in planning, we're above a little bit, obviously, on some things. Like, where does IT net
I
out?
think IT was actually,
Are we pretty good at 5%?
well, let me tell you what the actual IT director makes. I think Robert is right on it.
Well, I did ask for additional 6% on top of for my employees only, not for myself.
That wasn't,
Okay.
we didn't see any request.
And I may have not done that correctly in the email.
We didn't see it, Robert.
I guess, on the numbers that we've got, where are we?
Let me go back down and look at the numbers we got in there. I hate the way this thing's going.
And unfortunately, as anyone knows.
Information.
It's hard to pinpoint any type of salary when it comes to, because everyone's doing something different.
This kind of gives you an idea for Roberts. The actual median pay, not counting the high ends and the steps that I was talking about earlier, for all Middle Tennessee, and this was for last year, was 136, 383. So before the cost, he was about 130, so he's slightly below median. His other folks are kind of variable all over the place. He's below all those, but I don't know their training, which ones are 3 degrees versus what he's having down there. So to really get an apples to apples, like the one for 73, what is it, a web developer?
So, our IT department is gonna be doing everything for the new courthouse, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Not only just the new courthouse, EMS, and highway department as well, we're taking on additional 100+ people to take care of.
you're talking about like servicing 100 plus people, okay?
He's picking up the new courthouse, the old one's leaving the sheriff's department, coming over to his department.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sheriff's department no longer on the service. 53,602 is the average for a technician.
Who do not serve?
Sure, we're
About within range, 40s and 50s based on the.
we're good at that 5%.
And that's
that
just
5%.
the jail and.
3.5.
That's correct, yes, sir. We don't completely service 911, but we're in, we service them. But they do pay a stipend to us for our services there.
20,000 a year.
Everyone else will be under us at this point. Well, I'm sorry, schools and sheriff's office.
With the addition of the new courthouse, is there any additional personnel?
They added it last year.
We added it last year, and I'm so it's going forward to what we have now.
Let me ask you, one thing that's come up recently is the one-to-one clinics, there's a lot of different issues with that, because school. Do you service them?
No.
So the school takes care of their IT needs, or do
Maybe,
they?
maybe.
Somebody else pays for it.
We used to like to make this.
But we don't, we pay. Yeah. And they have their own IT.
But this way, it's
But I do, when I bring that up, with the ticket or taking the EMS, they do have 13 outposts that will be serviced throughout the county. So,
By you.
to consider.
By you.
I didn't share this.
Not on one page, you guys $20,000 a year for support for IT. They used to pay 40, but they've hired one of their own IT people. And then Robert here, actually, there used to be a contract. What was the name of that group that helped support them? Rockcore. When they used to pay us more, they were actually using a lot of Rockcore too. He's getting Rockcore out to make it all that difference. Because the niggas was actually comparing apples to oranges on somebody. He used to have a big outsourced contract with Rockcore.
Yeah, we typically have rid of any contract or services.
Brought it back in the house.
Robert, I hear somewhere that we're losing Nina.
We have lost it. It's already out.
You get a page.
Did you replace her?
Yes, absolutely. Everyone, this is Kim. That was Nina's replacement. I meant to introduce her a minute ago, but we got right into business.
So, my question is about that project management role. What is, I'm very familiar with what project management is, so my question is, what you do, just like, what's the scope of that? And I'll tell you the context of why I'm asking. Not saying we necessarily want to do this, but, it occurs to me that you get to a certain scale, and just like we're trying to consolidate the section into the sheriff department, we mostly have you all in the shared service now. Typically, of an organization this size, you start to get, you end up with something of a PMO shop across the board, right? Like, so project management becomes its own kind of shared service, but it's not, project management and planning, and then project management and IT, and project management elsewhere. So I'm just kind of wondering what the specific scope of what your project manager does, to understand that a little bit better.
Well, at this time, we no longer have a project manager. We didn't proceed the way we thought we would do as far as needing that position. The only person still left on my staff that's project management certified is myself, and I'll be handling all that moving forward.
So you're doing that, you're just managing it as a function of the director?
That's correct.
Okay, got it.
And wherever it's needed.
So this role here, that's not project management anymore?
No, sir. We just went back to strictly office manager.
Okay, so it's an office management role. So you're not doing like, you're not planning your rollouts, and you're not planning any kind of like sprint cycle or anything like that?
All that, anything that we would be doing project management, like time handling, like with the libraries and so forth, we're doing all that with EMS. I did all the planning and project management for the highway department. So.
In the past, was this project management doing something different?
There was more things going on than the county initially.
Did we finish them, or we just stopped managing?
Right now, we're at a point where the way we're growing, it can all be handled internally without, I think, necessarily the need of another project management position. But that is a position we're working on.
But you got you're actually one behind.
Yeah, that's a plus. Okay. Because I think part of what yeah. And office manager now is pretty much that.
Can you show us those numbers?
Show us the numbers of what are you asking?
So, we reduced from the office/project manager that we had in Nina, salaries reduced according to what we're discussing over here.
Well, we just need to adjust it in our payroll thing, then if you tell us the amount.
That's what he's telling us right here.
But I mean, that makes sense though, right?
Yeah, it makes good sense. I just want
Because
to.
the office manager doesn't typically have the same scope that a project manager would.
Correct.
Yep.
Oh, it's already been put in there. It's already in the UAE.
Now, is that included in data processing personnel, everything else is, or am I missing it? It is.
For us, it would be.
Okay,
That's all we see.
so that's the lump sum of 475.
Correct.
And then
Everybody else besides Rob.
and he's got capital money on, capital request on page number 97.
Yeah. Well, I did ask to carry over the capital request we had last year because we wouldn't able to get that completed, so we will get that completed this year.
97 was,
51,000.
I know we've got we have like on, if you go to the top two lines, there's 50,000 we've asked for any kind of equipment next year. It's historically been 96, but it's mainly for like ERP equipment, like Munis, Tyler, they run a lot of
related at this point.
finance uses a lot of servers or servers. Yeah, we're the heavy end because we have much database.
Hey, we're gonna over time, so, yeah, if we can.
Yes, sir. Well, I do want to point out too, due to some of the negotiations we've been doing after the fact that we presented this, when you look at our, data process services, of 750, we can actually bring that down to 700, so accommodate for the raises as well. At this point, so.
Where is that in,
Fifth one down on page.
what, page 48? Okay.
Take it from 750 to 7.
Eric, did you have that? What happened? I always feel I've been reading off of it.
Do we want to go ahead and make that adjustment right now? Just to have it, can we do that?
I handed it to you. Oh, that's good.
All right, anything else? We're gonna keep moving. All right, thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Great job.
Register of deeds.
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing? Here is,
Can you guys, can you read her page to you?
What page is
She's
it?
on page 37, and then Bethany can hand her salary for it.
I did not make multiple copies of these, but these are all of our property, or all of our job descriptions, that we have for the office. So I'll pass those around if y'all would like to look at them later. They're a little too long to look at right now, so,
Okay.
So if y'all have any questions for me.
Goodbye.
I'll have to share them later. Maybe can you have your office and get what they did,
So,
so we can get them later?
The job description.
I believe.
what are we looking at for, salaries and adjustment on this? Is this,
Those jobs.
Yeah, we can look at it.
Yeah.
You know they're asking for 6% too,
okay.
all the elected.
What is, like, what are we looking at for, like, market?
Market, it says that the average chief deputy for the registered deeds last year was 81. I think hers is, I don't know what hers is. So she's pretty close on the, and then it says the average market for a deputy clerk in the registered deeds is 50,000, 50,000, 440 in the large entities.
And if you look at some of ours right now, some of ours are close to that amount, and some of ours are over that amount. The reason why we have one of them over that amount is she's been with us for 33 years almost. So, we have two individuals that are our lead deputies in the office, other than our chief deputy. And, looking at the inflation rate, I think it's no secret, everything's went up. I have a lot of single individuals in my office that don't have spousal income, so I have to look at that as well. I also have to look at what I am expecting of my employees. I expect the very best of my employees. I do not want to end up in another statistic of property costs in our county, and that is becoming a big issue. So I'm expecting a lot of my employees to really learn these job descriptions and apply these job descriptions in our office and know the state law on the cleaning department, so we don't end up becoming one of these statistics of property fraud as well. Another thing that I looked at as well when asking for that increase is their insurance is going up as well, but our wages, just trying to keep them up with the inflation rates right now. That's what we're looking at. As far as the fees that I bring into our office, the fees I bring in do exceed what I am asking. In years past, they have doubly exceeded. So, due to the market right now to be down, I expect it to be going back up to where we see those doubly exceeding fees. If we keep trending the way we're trending now, there is a state statute that says that we can add an additional $2 for electronic. This is not the EDPC, which is what we have now, which is the data processing fee. But this is actually a fee that's going to go for everything that we bring in for e-files. I don't want to do that to my constituents right now because I know that fee is going to get taxed on. If becomes a necessity, if we start exceeding, like what I'm asking for in our budget, if we start exceeding what we're bringing in fees, then I may take a look at that. Right now, I think we are doing pretty good on the fees and commission that we're bringing in. That additional $2 fee would go into general fund. It would not go into a reserve fund like our current fee now.
And back to the same, on this topic, the same item I've asked everyone else, what are the other counties charging in fees?
Right. So there are only 2 counties right now in the Texas that I know are collecting that $2. It's Montgomery County and another county. That has to be voted on through resolution by the county commission. That can be an added fee.
And how does that work? Is that on transaction, like a new purchase, or is that a resale or a property?
So what we do is we have a system called filing. It's an electronic filing system, and it's separate from actually just somebody sending a document in to us by mail, having a paper copy. It's actually electronic. And so when they use those services, we can add an additional $2 on top of the $2 we're already charged. That's going to hit the constituent. The title companies are going to go.
All this and all taxes.
So I don't want to do that. You know, if we don't have that. Yeah. So right now we're pretty good. Everything that I'm asking for is under what we're bringing in fees. In years past, we've been, I think, we've brought in close to $2 million, and now this year I think we're going to bring in close to $1 million. We're bringing in about $100,000 average in fees and commissions.
I'd like to see our fees compared to other counties.
Yeah.
So, I know, and I don't know if that's in the audit report,
With
drawing, or.
With registers, it's a little different, because you're going to look at like someone like Montgomery, who's going to have a lot of exemptions due to military. So if you like compare us close to someone like Montgomery, they're not going to bring in those fees that we do. What we do is we charge $3.70 on conveyance tax for every dollar we collect that for the state. And then we also collect a mortgage tax as well. Then we get a 2.8% commission off of that tax that we collected. And that commission goes to general fund.
If I may, most of these are statutorily driven.
They are. They're all statutorily driven, so
It's all about volume.
It is. It really is.
All right, I think we're good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
She is on page 46, and she has a capital projects request on page 97.
Judge David Howard. I mean,
Beautiful day to be inside.
You need to be down there testing the sticks,
We work really hard at that. Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Why did you do it?
I was wondering if you could explain to everybody, because it was such an enlightenment when you explained to me about how we collect, the fees for the cities and how they give us the $10 per application.
Oh, on the tax rate.
Yes, if everybody, this was very interesting to me. I don't know if y'all know it. Mr. Klein? Cindy's got something to share that I found extremely interesting. I think y'all would too. She's going to tell you how we collect the money from the municipal on the tax-free work that we do for them.
We manage the tax relief and tax-free programs that were initiated by the state. Every September, I send my tax relief staff to the different cities that participate to take applications. That helps our elderly to go to drive to Gallatin. Well, the ones in Gallatin do, but they go to the cities to take these applications, and we bill the cities $10 a person for every application we take for them, which is some additional income. I'm going to tell you that we are going to be slammed this year because it's reappraisal year, and they will be coming out of the woodwork trying to qualify for these programs. So that's going to be a giant increase in our workload. We have an additional 6,200 parcels over what we had last year that we are going to have lower income limit, and the state will pay a small portion of their taxes if they qualify, and then the county matches up to that for our elderly. That's going to increase. And then we always have an additional, probably around 100 public utility bills that the state sends to us to bill and collect for them. Those are like businesses that may not have a physical location, but they come through Sumner County, like trucking companies, Cumberland Electric, natural gas companies, where they have a presence here in the county that might be running, lines across the county, and we collect a tax for that. That's usually an additional 100 approximately bills that we have to process. Let's see what else increased we have. And then, of course, last year we had asked about remodeling our office, and there was so much going on that didn't happen, so we would like to revisit that as well.
We will.
Pretty much 50,000 she requested for that in capital.
Did Henderson Bill raise their tax rate?
I don't know.
I know they're talking about it.
Well, I think they voted to increase sales tax, if I'm not instead. Yes. So.
My only question is like, I've had constituents reach out and just looking at our state constitution, I guess I'm questioning the income threshold for the property tax freeze versus just anybody over 65 or even 70, whatever it's going to be, like just freezing property tax at a rate. And that's what Henderson was trying to do, a resolution to freeze property taxes for residents over 65 until they move or the house sells, and it captures a new rate if it's like that. What is for anybody listening, that for somebody wanting to look into a property tax freeze, like where do they go, what do they do? They come to you, I guess, and to talk about that. They go online. Best place to find information about that?
Well, we usually update our information once we get everything from the state on our website, and then we have the information printed on the back of the tax bill as well, so that they can see if they might qualify, and they can always come in too.
That's a yearly. They have to come yearly and do that.
Every year.
So,
what's the income threshold?
I don't have the amount for the state yet, but the tax freeze is going up to 46,000, I think. It was 42. It goes up a little bit.
what is that, 46?
I think it's 46.5.
So what does that cover, the 46.5? Is that like total, just straight up income?
It's your adjusted gross income plus Social Security after Medicare.
Okay.
Household.
I think your average is like 61. Raise it much.
How many
because
million acquisitions do you think they get?
That's what my.
We have no idea because of the
Revenue?
appraisal. There are people that,
Oh, they're gonna learn.
now that their appraisal has gone up, of course,
Pushes it to everybody else.
that scares people. We've had numerous calls.
I've been to Cindy Dollars, so back to her capital project needs, these people have to have privacy in discussing their financials. And so if you've been down to Cindy's office, you'll see that they're trying to quarter them off, but she's gonna need more people, another few or somewhere.
And I had thought about asking if it's possible during the heaviest part of tax season, if we could use that empty room where HR used to be, maybe to set up a couple of ladies in there even to help with our space needs.
We put them in here, can't we set up offices, we can take our meetings in the chamber?
Would be easier to do that old.
Well, they were getting off topic on that, so let's not.
We need someplace.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions from this one? All right.
Do you want to go to the law directors because he needs to leave?
Okay, you can do that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
On page number 35, and if you can click his salaries. And really, the only thing that he really asked for in addition was an increase for the staff attorney. And when we look at, because the staff attorney is not included on this survey, but the amount that Eric asked for, if we look back at the 2022 survey, the medium, or for somebody with 5 to 7 years of experience, is actually below that requested number right there. I've got it here with me. I went back and looked.
You mean the other way around?
It's amounts, that amount's below it, yes.
Yeah. You're talking about that. You're talking about the requested 2025 amount.
It's less than the median for a staff attorney is.
At 2022.
Is the 2022
What
survey.
do we historically pay for the staff attorney? What was Mr. Allen making?
He was making, I think Steve came in for about 10 less, if I'm not mistaken, I can't recall exactly.
Yeah, I think it's about right.
And then also, he came in with more experience too, so that kind of makes, Steve came in with more experience.
Yeah.
Yep. Steve came in with more experience than Mr. Allen did. Because I was asked to look at the numbers, so I went ahead and looked back at those two.
Yeah. Any questions on the law directors?
I just wanted to comment, if I could, real quick. There is an increase here of 13 on my data processing equipment. I was going to try and catch Tuttle, but for whatever reason, my predecessor decided to switch everything in the legal department to Apple, and then get a separate off-site service provider. This has created havoc and turmoil with problems with emails, trying to get stuff to move back and forth, the firewalls here at the county. So I'm asking that I be able to get my system up to the same standards as the rest of the departments in the building, so that IT can service all of my equipment, and I'm not, then that will relieve the, there's another budget, data processing services, $11,000 was being paid roughly for off-site management of these Apple products. So to write out the contract, I'm reducing that one in half, and that will eventually become a zero line. And the 17 is a one-time hit just to get all the new software and get IT to merge and move whatever that duty is they do.
And licensing fees, so we're legal.
Mr. Tuttle takes care of all that.
Can you go to other contracted services real quick, Beth? If you look at that one, and that's something too, since they brought the staff attorney on, that I was talking to Eric about, that number right there is significant. We've been going down to, that's your outsourced number.
Oh, went from 43 to 12?
Yeah, with 60, to 12. Now, they have more into next year because you don't know what's going to pop up, but there's been, I've been looking, there's less outsourcing now.
In-house, we've taken on all code suits now, which wasn't me number four, and we're taking care of the tax sales.
So you're doing more work in-house than what was being done previously?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so I missed something about you. We've got a data processing services for 2025 that would be $7,500. We got other contracted services that are $100,000.
He spent a lot less this year, but we don't know what may come up next year, so that's still in there for the larger amount.
And then there's a data processing equipment of $17,000.
He's asked to replace the Apples with Microsoft because the Apples are causing issues. We have, in other words, when we send them documents, the Apple has issues with them creating PDFs, so we've actually been using our staff to try to help them with that. It's such an issue. And, there's a lot of issues with the Apple machines. They're older. There's compatibility between it and Microsoft. There's no in-house servers. They're all online. We pay for them.
Yeah, get on the
My mom's opinion was not a good idea for Apple to be up there.
Eliminating that $11,000 service.
So over 2 years, you're going to get your money back.
Right. Correct.
And I'm sorry, I just can't follow between the 12,815 and the 103,000.
What I'm saying is in the past, they were outsourcing for the delinquent
Right, I
tax.
understand why it's going down.
This year, it's only 12, but we left 100 in next year because you don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, so it's just it's a solution.
That's for any outsourcing they have to do that does not involve a liability case where we're suspended.
What about our lawsuits?
If you are suing somebody, it comes through them and here. If somebody's suing us, it goes through liability.
This is where they used to send out for another lawyer to review a contract to do plumbing, or something like that.
They never did do that. They were doing like delinquent tax sales, and they were doing things for the debris cleanup, the debris ordinance.
codes violations in the county.
They were outsourcing part of that. They were sending somebody with them, at least an attorney.
What about when we were outsourcing to get, advice on the pilot project? Where would that go? Because I know
That would come out of this. It should be coming out of this because we're not being sued.
I mean, I don't think we're doing it anymore, but that would have been what we.
But that's why you want to leave the $100,000.
Well, that could be a bona fide ask, because if it involves a TIF or something, for example, IDB gets reinvigorated and
It
some
just
other project
involved,
goes
like,
through.
did you review this pilot contract?
I
I'm just trying to figure out what they used to do and what we're doing. Thank you, I'm in the lead.
What that really is, if you need some kind of specific specialization, what ends up in there.
All right, any other questions?
Am I reading this right? He's asking for a 7.5% salary bump? I just want to make sure.
No.
Okay.
Everybody was told the 5%, and if you remember during the year, you guys adjusted his base salary for $4,500 for where he gave up the disability. Yes. And if you go down to his budget, you'll see the disability line's gone.
So this accounts for that.
That's right, 7.5%.
Question, not trying to hate on you here, but
So if you take his current salary, then you add the 45 in, then you add 1.5, and it'll come to that.
I'm used to it, that's all right.
That's all right.
But if you look at the disability line.
Don only picks on Eric. The only person in the county.
That's the first thing he said all day. Good for you.
Right here's the disability line.
I'll tell you why I'm asking too. There's a lot of pushback on why there's people that feel like we gave him an extra raise with that disability, but from what I understood.
We know who the liars are, we understand.
Well, I'm not gonna say it's called liars, they were concerned that, you know. That's why I was just asking.
That was shoring up a contract. Give a voice to it.
But it would have put us more in the liability.
Yeah.
Here's the whole issue that I see from your financial end. If we have a contract that says he's getting paid a disability policy, and then we don't fund it, and Eric gets disabled, then we're gonna be paying that amount of that disability as long as he's disabled, which would be $120,000 a year to 65, which is, if you don't care, we say about 10 years. So you're talking 1.2 million. So when it went back to my payroll department, they brought it back to me and said, hey, we don't have a disability policy, and we have this contract.
So we had a choice between, so from there, we had a choice to go find a disability policy, and I think the cheapest one was like $12,000.
We were
gonna lose $20,000.
I found one that was half that, and we could either, he found one that was actually, I think he had to buy 3 years, it was gonna be really expensive.
We're way off the topic, but that's.
No, I brought up specifically because those who have a question now can look at the minutes and review it and speak to some more clarity in a smaller group.
Some people don't like.
Some people even if they
read the facts.
you show them 2 + 2 is 4 and they're saying, well,
I did go back and look at his salaries like I was asked to on everybody else, and the amount he's got in for the paralegal does fit right into the amount that Merck made it. I was gonna read it to you, but did you happen to have that? Did I have to switch this one with you, the one I had highlighted, or do you still?
All right, any other questions there? I think we have an EC what it is, so. You guys wanna take a 5-minute break real quick? Yeah, we can take a 5-minute break and then I'll take over. Okay.
I just thought it was sort of time to come up to your office and write it
You'll
out.
stop that here, we'll take a 5-minute break.
Eric,